Hello, everybody. What is today? November 3rd. Today is November 3rd. And I'm traveling for work, and I came up with just a nice little list this morning that I can do from my hotel that I think everybody will enjoy. So we're going to call today's list uh, 21 Common Pitfalls to Avoid. How about that? That's probably a nice name. If we wanted to have more of a straight talk kind of a session, it could be 21 common mistakes, or more of a bit of straight talk would be 21 reasons potentially why your fitness is not improving and you're blaming the wrong thing. So it just depends on what level of comfort you have with words, okay? So we're going to keep it nice and kind and just in general. So we'll say 21 common pitfalls to avoid. And I have made a tremendous amount of these. A tremendous amount. So I'm not sitting here, telling other people what they've done wrong. Trust me, I have done most of these things. People that I know, like, and trust that know a lot about CrossFit have done most of these things. And these are the things that we talk about regularly. So this list is also not all-inclusive. It could be plenty longer. But here's 21. Just to prove, just some food for thought. So here we go. Number 1, you're doing too much, aka work out less, aka do less but do it better. And that's a tough one, right? I mean, most people, if they're not getting the results that they want, probably don't feel that they need to work out less. They probably need to feel they should work out more. But largely that's not the case. A lot of people are doing far too much, drowning in volume, and that's killing their intensity, and they would be well served by doing less but just doing it better. So that's it. And this plays into number 2, not enough intensity, and that could be otherwise known as too much volume. So intensity leads to the good stuff in workouts, and if you are not bringing enough intensity to your workouts, it could be easy to think that you're just not doing enough, and then you add volume when you probably should add some intensity. Number 3, not understanding relative intensity. So yes, intensity is great, but an understanding of relative intensity, being that it's relative to the individual's physical and psychological tolerances, is critical. And understanding that intensity doesn't mean that you just try to murder yourself every day on every workout, 100% maximal effort, and leave yourself so wrecked that you drag yourself into the gym like a zombie the next day. That's a misunderstanding of intensity as well. So an understanding of relative intensity would serve most people, quite well. Number 4, not taking rest days. So also, could be the evil cousin of doing too much, or the more is better routine. But not taking rest days and just allowing yourself both a mental and physical decompression. For most regular human beings walking the face of the earth is critical and necessary and will help with their longevity and their compliance and their recovery, and they will walk into the gym more frequently, happier and healthy, and then that will allow them to work out with intensity, and all of a sudden these good things start compounding. Number 5, not respecting the heavy days. And so that can be yet another evil cousin, maybe a second cousin, of doing too much or trying to cram too much into an hour. And instead of just, dedicating, all you're going to do that day is lift heavy. Give it the respect that it deserves. Do a full head-to-toe warm-up, a full warm-up of the lift. Take the rest that you need between sets so that you can really pull hard and all that good stuff. And then give yourself a good cool down and stretch at the end, and life will be good. And then you'll probably get what you hope that you would get out of the heavy days. And when you try to cram that in part A, B, and C into an hour, usually the heavy days get rushed. They don't get the respect or attention that they deserve. Then you're not getting the strength gains that you hope that you would get. And then you're down that evil trap of feeling that you need to do more when that's not what you need to do. You actually need to do less, and you need to do it better. So again, these are all somewhat related. Number 6, your air squat is not that great, yet you want to add lots of loading to it. Do extra squatting, loaded squatting, or focus on your Olympic lifting. When your air squat, which is the foundation of your house, has cracks in it and it's not stable and it's not solid. So that's not what we want to have happen. So working on the basics is a wonderful thing to do, and I would highly recommend that before you try to don't seek out unnecessary complexity or advancement before the fundamentals are as rock solid as you can possibly make them. Number 7, you'll likely need extra conditioning or gymnastics work, but you decided that you needed to lift more. And this is that theoretical hierarchy of the development of an athlete where the baseline is nutrition, then built upon that is metabolic conditioning, then upon that, your control of body weight with gymnastics, then on top of that, weightlifting and throwing. But it's just really easy for human beings to want to jump to extra weightlifting before they've really laid that foundation of metabolic conditioning and that foundation of being able to just control their body weight with no external load. Again, because because weightlifting looks sexier on Instagram than conditioning or body weight movements, but that's not a solution to a long-term problem, and that's probably just putting a Band-Aid on an error that will come back up later. So let's see. Number 8, avoiding deficiencies, aka cherry-picking workouts, aka not embracing variance. There's so many wonderful things associated with variance and not cherry-picking workouts that lead to your advancement, to you being well-rounded, to you not potentially overtraining or under-recovering or whatever you want to call that, because you're not just beating the same thing, day after day. Again, let's say that you love weightlifting, heavy squatting, or whatnot. If you cherry-pick all those workouts, you're just going to start to wear yourself down in a particular area, and that's going to kill your intensity, kill your motivation to go into the gym. So allowing variance and doing other things is good for a tremendous number of reasons, and most of us, we have our biases, so we like to cherry pick. Potentially you're fearing, the 5K run, you think that it will lose your gains. Again, that goes back down to the base of the pyramid, metabolic conditioning. Don't fear that. It is good for you. You will not lose your gains. Number 10, you are not sprinting. So now with the long distance, and with the other side, sprinting is so profoundly beneficial and critical, but those track days sting almost like no other, and therefore they are very easy to blow off, but I would recommend that you do not blow them off. Number 11, you are not scaling frequently enough or trying to go RX all the time. And that is not a good recipe right there. Scaling is cool. Scaling is your friend. Scaling leads to you becoming a monster beast of fitness. And more people should probably scale more frequently. And scaling will also allow you to embrace some of that intensity instead of bogging yourself down with an RX workout that you're potentially not ready to tackle yet. Number 12, not giving enough attention to your midline. So the hip and back extensions, for example. Now there's 3 movements. There's one called the hip extension, one called the back extension, and then a movement called the hip and back extension. All of them are fantastic. I particularly love the hip and back extension. So doing that and then doing something else which isn't flashy, like working your L-sit, working that trunk, working that midline is so critical for power transmission. Yet a lot of people, or too many people, just want to try to increase their leg strength and hoping that they'll be able to deadlift or squat more without giving time to their midline. So working on having a really strong midline is another one of those not flashy things at all, but will pay huge, huge dividends. Number 13, you are not potentially warming up properly or enough. This might be something that if there's a 5-round workout, maybe you don't start to feel good or warmed up until the end of the 2nd round or the beginning of the 3rd round. If that's the case, you might not be warming up properly or enough. So give your warm-up the respect that it deserves and allow your body to walk into the workout actually prepared, and things will most likely go better. And that, if you're warmed up properly, again, all these things are linked, right? That will allow you to express some intensity because you'll feel good and you'll feel ready. But if you're trying to crush or cram too many things into 1 hour's worth of training, you might feel some pressure to shortchange your warm-up. And all you're doing is shortchanging your session and shortchanging your fitness. So I wouldn't recommend doing that. The other side, you're not potentially cooling down or stretching enough, which will then negatively affect your training the next day or for the rest of the week. So you got to allow yourself to do that as well. Keep yourself happy and healthy. And all these things, once again, are linked. Number 15. You don't have a strict pull-up, let alone several, but you continue to kip without pursuing strict movements. Same goes for ring dips, ring muscle-ups, etc., etc. You want to have a little basket of the strict movements before you add velocity to something that you can't control in a slow, deliberate fashion. And working on your strict pull-up is not sexy or flashy, but it is a critical part of the foundation that will serve you well for the remainder of your CrossFit career. And so I would highly recommend everyone pursues the strict movements before they add velocity to a lot of those things. And that's, common stuff you hear at the CrossFit Level 1 seminar. 16. You are not dedicating time to practice. And practice could be, if you have strict dips and strict pull-ups, but you don't have the muscle up yet, that magic time that you work on it is practice time. And you dedicate, some practice time a few times a week or after your warm-up or after your cool-down. Again, if you're not trying to cram too much into the hour, you'll have 5 to 10 minutes to practice. And regular practice leads to wonderful things. But practice is, again, not sexy or flashy. And so it's easy to blow off practice. So I'd recommend that you don't blow off practice. And that's kind of linked into mechanics, consistency, intensity, classic CrossFit methodology. And, practice helps with the neurological components of coordination, accuracy, agility, and balance, directly related to technique. So, and you can practice everything from your air squat to the barbell snatch to ring muscle-ups to handstand walking to all kinds of stuff that's on your to-do list. Comes through practice. Practice is a great thing. It's fantastic. Talking about practice. Number 17, potentially you're impatient. Don't know anybody that fits that category, right? You want all the fitness to arrive today. Some of it's not going to arrive today. Some of it is not going to arrive next week or even next year. Again, this is a long road to health and fitness and doing it right that we're on. Number 18. Perhaps you need more or better sleep. I mean, who doesn't? Good, I'm glad somebody caught the Allen Iverson quote. You need more or better sleep. That is such a huge part of what happens in the gym. And it's easy for that to get not the attention that it deserves, and nothing's going to go well if you're not getting the sleep that you need. Number 19, your diet. Your diet. Maybe, potentially, just maybe, there's a little bit of room for improvement, potentially. Maybe something good would happen from that. Number 20. And this is okay, not to get deep on you, okay, but here, this is a real thing. Maybe, some folks, you have linked your worth as a human being to your workout performance. And this added pressure, stress, or expectations is likely not making your time in the gym fun. And I've seen this happen many times with competitive athletes that have moved on to a different phase in their life, and they're no longer, training 4 hours a day. And they're going to have a bit of a decline in fitness because they were revolving their entire life around everything relating to working out, and now they've got some other priorities. And if they start to see any decline from their lifetime PR, well, they don't feel good. They don't feel, it literally affects their self-worth and their self-perception. And that is a serious, serious issue. So Don't do that. You're just working out. It has nothing to do with whether you're a good person or a bad person. You're just working out. Going to the gym, like I said, make it the best hour of your day. High five some folks. Just relax. We're just working out. It should be a good time. It has nothing to do about your self-worth at all. And finally, number 21, you are comparing yourself unnecessarily to someone else, perhaps somebody fitter than you. And it's not quite as motivating as you hoped that it would be. And that, comparison is the thief of joy, whoever said that quote. And if you are comparing yourself to somebody and it's working, it motivates you, it drives you, and it's positive, okay, good, great. But be honest with yourself. And if you're comparing yourself to somebody else and it's not helping, I would lose that. I would unfollow that person. I would do whatever. That's not where you need to be. As corny and cliche as that line is, this is true. It really is you versus you. That's it. You are just trying to be a better version. Talking about physical fitness here, not self-worth. You are just trying to be a better version of the you that you were yesterday or last week or 6 months ago or a year ago. You're comparing your Helen time in 2020 to your Helen time in 2019, not somebody else's. Your deadlift on this new year compared to your deadlift last New Year's, whatever it happened to be, not to somebody else. And if your, body composition, all of that stuff is tracking in a nice positive direction, then your fitness is tracking in a nice positive direction. And don't worry about somebody else's trajectory. I know that's easy to say and hard to do, but if you can start to get it into your head a little bit, I think life, or maybe not life, but at least working out, could potentially be far more enjoyable. So, that's it. Again, I hope these are taken as, just a list of 21 things that I think would help folks enjoy their time in the gym more, get on a track to faster, healthier, better long-term fitness, avoid some pitfalls. And there are plenty of things in this list are mistakes that I have personally made beyond a shadow of a doubt. And if I can help somebody be a bit more efficient with their learning curve than I was, then that will make my day. So that's it. I've got a plane to catch. Have a great day, and we will talk later.